You might believe that you are observing the world around you, but have you ever wondered who is doing the observing? Consider a mirror. A mirror is a perfect reflection. It has no color, no form, no judgment. It does not try to reflect, nor does it avoid reflection. It simply reflects. Similarly, the world you perceive is not a reflection of what is, but of what you are. It is not what you think you are, not the small ego that resides within your body. Rather, it is what you truly are, the entirety of existence experiencing itself, the cosmos awakening and saying, "Ah, this is what I am when I am truly me." It is quite curious, really. People imagine that they exist in the universe as separate beings, like marbles in a box. But in truth, the universe exists within you. It flows through your nervous system and is interpreted by your eyes. Just as your eyes cannot see themselves, and your teeth cannot bite themselves, you cannot see yourself. You can only witness the reflections, the glimmer in another's eyes, the events of life, the joy, the sorrow, the ordinary moments. All of it is you. The question, then, is not whether the world reflects you, but whether you are ready to see yourself in it. If the mirror is cracked, you may perceive the world as broken. But if the mirror is clear, the world becomes alive with shimmer, dance, absurdity, and divinity. So what is the world? It is your own reflection wearing countless masks. And when you smile, it might just smile back. Let us be clear. You do not simply see reality, you evoke it. What you call the real world is nothing more than a vast conversation between you and that which is not a thing, but a dance, not a noun, but a verb. A rock is not hard unless touched by a hand. The sun is not light unless seen by the eye. Without your skin, fire is not hot. Without your ears, thunder has no sound. In other words, everything you perceive, the sun, the rain, the distance between you and the moon, is a creation of your mind. Without you, there is no near or far, no up or down, no color, no time. Everything is a relationship. When you begin to notice this, really notice it, the world becomes slippery. You can no longer say, "I am merely an observer." You are not just watching, you are participating, part of the painting, part of the dance. There is no world happening to you, it is happening with you, arising to meet the shape of your mind. When you look at the mountains, the clouds, the chaos, the beauty, you are not simply seeing the world, you are seeing your relationship to it. So, if your vision is always filled with cruelty, dullness, or lack, ask yourself, is it the world that is broken, or is it simply the way you have tilted the mirror? Here you are, the observer, looking out through the small openings called eyes, watching the world pass by like scenery outside a train window. But here is the twist. You are not just watching the show. You are the show watching itself. The separation between subject and object, between knowing and not knowing, is an illusion. It creates the illusion of a duet, when in fact it is a solo performance wearing two masks. If you try to find where the observer ends and the observed begins, you will find it impossible. They arise together, like inhale and exhale. Can one exist without the other? When you observe a whirlpool in a river, you might think, "Ah, there is a whirlpool." But the next day it is gone. There was never a whirlpool, only whirlpooling. In the same way, you are not a thing. You are a process, the unfolding of the universe at one tiny point, where it decided, "I shall look at myself right here." That being, though mistakenly thinking of itself as an island, is not an island. There are no islands, only coastlines in motion, only the sea in various shapes. Now, let us speak of mirrors. A mirror is a peculiar thing. It reflects everything, yet has no image of its own. It receives, but does not cling. It reflects, but does not judge. It does not say, "I prefer this face, but not that one." It does not try to change your hair. It does not hold on to yesterday's image, nor does it anticipate tomorrow's smile. It is simply clear. The same can be said of the mind when it is not clinging, not grasping, not editing experiences to fit its own story. The ancient Taoist sages said the highest human uses his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing, refuses nothing. It receives, but does not keep. When wild geese fly over a lake, their reflection appears in the water. But the geese do not intend to cast a reflection, and the water does not intend to keep their image. That is freedom. But we, on the other hand, tend to treat the mind not as a mirror, but as a scrapbook collecting photos, clinging to wounds, comparing, editing, deleting, as if life were a story we are trying to get right instead of a song we forgot we were singing. What if you stopped? What if you allowed each moment to pass through you, as light passes through glass? If you let go of the need to comment, to control, to correct, then the mind becomes like a mirror again. And in that stillness, you may finally see the one who was always there, not watching life, but being it. It is curious, the more earnestly you search for yourself, the more you seem to vanish. Try it. Try to grasp who you are. Not your name, not your profession, not your thoughts or opinions. Those are like clothes hanging on a hanger. What happens if you go behind the mask? Deeper, beneath the bones, behind the breath, beyond the watcher of your thoughts. There is no one there, is there? And yet something is there, watching without comment, feeling without flinching. It is there when you are 5, and still there when you are 50. But it has no age, no face, no voice. It simply is. You say, I think, but can you find the thinker? You say, I feel, but where is the feeler? The more you look, the more you see that the one searching is also the very thing being searched for, like trying to bite your own teeth. This is not a failure. It is the joke of existence. The cosmic play, the universe pretending not to know itself, so it can play at discovering who it is. The self is not a thing inside the body, peering out. The body is the world folding inward. What you call I is simply the sensation of being that fold. It is not that you are in the universe. You are what the universe is doing, right here, right now, in this peculiar shape. There is something extraordinary about silence. Not the absence of sound, but the silence that hums within every sound. The silence that is not empty, but so full that it spills into form. It is the mirror that reflects all things, yet remains untouched. It is space holding stars, music, bones, laughter, but never clinging. This silence is not separate from you. It is not something you enter. It is what remains when the commentary stops, when the mind forgets to name and the world forgets to explain. Then, suddenly, there it is. Not peace as an achievement, not stillness as an effort, but a kind of listening that hears nothing and everything at once. In that silence, the mirror is always there, reflecting. It does not judge. It simply reflects perfectly, precisely, instantly. You may say, I want the world to love me. But the truth is, the mirror is not out there. It is right here, everywhere, waiting. No effort required, no technique, no trick. The geese fly over the lake, casting their reflection in the still water. The water does not try to hold their image. The geese do not try to leave it behind. Everything moves. Everything reflects. Nothing clings. To be at peace with the mirror is to no longer require it to flatter, to change, or to perform. When this happens, when there is no need for performance, you may glimpse something quiet looking back. Not a thought, not a voice, not a person, just presence. That presence is you, not the you that you usually talk about, not the name, not the role, not the one who signs documents. It is something deeper, the awareness that was there before the name was learned, before the story began. It has always been there, silent, unmoving, unconcerned, watching the entire drama unfold. It has no opinion, it has no ambition, It simply is. And it cannot be seen because it is the seeing. It cannot be grasped because it is what grasps. As the Upanishads say, thou art that. The universe, all of it, rises within you, like sound rising in a bell, like light appearing in the eye. You do not live in the world. The world happens within you. When the wave knows it is the ocean, it does not fear crashing. When the dancer knows they are the dance, there is no need for applause. When you remember this, not as a belief, but as a knowing beneath knowing, that you were never outside this, never separate, never lacking, then the whole game becomes beautifully transparent. The music continues, the shapes change, the story evolves, but the silence beneath the music, the stillness within the motion, remains unchanged. That stillness is not a void to be feared. It is fullness. It is the mirror with no dust, the sky with no clouds, the awareness with no face. And when you forget, as forgetting is part of remembering, the mirror will still reflect, because the face it shows was never missing, and the one who has been looking all along is simply the looking itself.